Yeah, thank you, Gail. Um, I I will very quickly talk about the sovereign cloud stack today because of a number of reasons. Actually, I've given that talk or was talking about that a couple of times now, at least to some of you. The second reason is it's the last presentation of the day, and I don't want to bother you. And the third reason is I wanted to actually bring in some different aspects, which I was thinking about very recently. Well, we all kind of working in the same space and trying to address a similar problem, and I just found a couple of different aspects within that problem, and I'm coming to that. But first of all, I will and I have to talk about the sovereign cloud stack very, very quickly. So, I'm not going to talk about what here in this audience what cloud computing is. Basically, you have a cloud computing stack is actually quite a number of softwares which are addressing very different things, and ultimately there are, it's not easy to read, but these small red dots, there are apps, okay, and those apps are by users or by software companies, and they're using cloud computing, and everything else is provided by the cloud service providers and a cloud computing stack, some software, right? And I've shown that slide a couple of times, and it has been explained a number of times throughout the day. So Brian was talking about hyperscalers. They own an ecosystem, but they own their own ecosystem. It's not compatible with the outside world. Inside, everything's compatible. Outside, nothing is compatible. And the next level is proprietary stack. And Quentin actually was talking about that. VMware is actually an ecosystem. Everybody who's using VMware is compatible with everybody else who's using VMware. So that's an ecosystem inside a software. And then Brian was talking again about that third level there. There is a lot of OpenStack realizations out there and implementations. But everybody's doing something slightly different. We were also talking about Kubernetes. Now, Kubernetes is a standard, but nobody's running anything on vanilla Kubernetes. So it is configured. And every time you configure it, it's not compatible. So it is not interoperable anymore, right? And that is what we were trying to, or what we are trying to address with the sovereign cloud stack. Oh, very quickly, we defined standards, and anybody could adopt to those standards in order to make things interoperable. But we are also creating a reference implementation based on OpenStack. Okay, very quickly. That is not so important for now. Ultimately, what we would like to, or what we are trying to achieve, if there are different cloud service providers and they're using a certain set of standards to configure the cloud computing stack, they will be interoperable, and that's our mission. Okay. Now, to the second part of my presentation. That was sovereign cloud stack. And that is a project which is similar to the other projects which have been presented here today. I recently was looking, or I was trying to look. I was trying to discuss internally in my project team to look at this project and the deliverables which we are producing from a product management standpoint. Okay, and I brought here two aspects of this thing, what we are producing, standards, and a reference implementation from a product management point of view. And the first thing I want to talk about is adaptability. And I don't have a lot of stories, really. It's just a couple of thoughts which come to my mind when I think about sovereign cloud stack, but also when I think about expense or verifiable credentials provided by the Gaia X Foundation, and a couple of others provided by or part of our Eclipse projects. Now, there is I had a talk with the CEO of a cloud service companies. They're doing cloud architecture basically, and he said to me, "What you are doing is killing innovation." And he said that with all the love he had. It was a very nice conversation, okay? But I thought, well, we actually the good guys. I thought we are actually leveraging innovation. But at the same time, I understood what he meant. The moment you introduce standards in order to guarantee interoperability, you reduce the flexibility and the creativity and the freedom to do something, because you're saying, no, you comply to the standard. Okay? And I think we need to be very, very careful when we implement standards that we rightly regulate and not over-regulate, because above interoperability, actually innovation starts. The second aspect, or the second part here, there is existing IT, okay, there are existing cloud service providers. If we put a standard on top of that, we need to either, we say everybody who's doing existing, every data center which is already existing, we don't care about, but then we actually have a very, very small business. So we need to make sure that what's there already, and everybody needs to make sure what's there already has a chance to adopt, okay? And that brings me to the third one, transformation and maintenance resources or costs. We issue standards every half a year, roughly. So we update our standards. Every time we do that, the cloud service provider who wants to stay certified needs to adopt his stack, and he needs to have the manpower and the knowledge and skills to do that, and he needs to have that. He needs to employ that. Okay, and we need to at least have in the back of my mind that our customers, and I say now customers, we don't actually have customers, but if we would think of a product, we would think of customers, right? That our customers can do that. Second aspect, user experience. Now, I mean, we are all software people here, right? And we all know the term user experience. I think, at least that's what I observe in my project, is that this is not a big topic in development and delivery. I did some 10 years back, I did an education as a user experience professional. At that time, I wanted to go into product management, and then I ended up in sales and never got out. But that was at least my aim. And what I learned mainly was that user experience is a lot more than usability. User experience is what the user thinks when using your product. If he thinks, has he got good thoughts or bad thoughts? And that's all what it is, regardless how you achieve that. And one of the things which we should think of, at least for sure in the sovereign cloud stack, is communication. Okay. Now you would think a cloud computing stack. What's the user experience there? What's the usability? Yeah, there is some bits and pieces, but there is a lot about communication. What are we actually doing? What are we trying to achieve? How easy it is to use? What's our documentation? We were thinking about like a virtual tea time once a week where anybody can dial in and we just explain what the sovereign cloud stack is, or has anybody got a question, regardless what level of experience he has, okay? Just to lower the boundaries to get in contact with us, okay? And that can be an aspect of your user experience. Another one is a look and feel, and you would also again think, a cloud computing stack, does it have a look and feel? Well, there is a front end potentially, and there is even the command line can have a look and feel. Now, there is a lot more than that. Think of it. What does the user think when he thinks about the product? Okay? And if there's good thoughts, then you probably made a good job, at least with respect to user experience. And the third one is brand. Now, a very, very simple communication on a very high level. One claim, one logo. Does it mean something to somebody? We had a brand workshop in our project last week, after 2 years of project runtime. I will conclude with a question, the last question of today. Does anybody know what that is? Precisely. This is a kitchen machine. Okay? When I did the user experience professional education 10 years ago, that was the latest chip in the user experience community. Before that, it was the iPhone. Okay? That's a kitchen machine produced by a German company, Vorwerk. It's bloody expensive. It's 1,500 euros. Okay? And it sells like sliced bread. How did they do that? Well, it's a little bit of a secret, but they have this, they have some digitization and they have an app, yeah, okay. But they also had recipe books. They had influencers who were multiplying and leveraging what great of a tool that is, that robot, that automatic thing which cooks while you picking up these kids from kindergarten. So they build a story around the kitchen machine, which is something really dead old, but it was so successful. And I think we all can get better. Certainly, us as a sovereign cloud stack can get better in order in this field to think of it as a product, what aspects of a product it has. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.